Hi guys, and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 231. What do we have for today? Jed McCaleb sold 54 million XRP in April, and new Bitcoin farm in Iran. Now, if you're catching this from live, welcome, and if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions for us, please leave us a comment below. We really want to know what you're thinking. Now, if you want to be up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. If you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on the Discord. Links in the description, so there's a link to all the amazing articles we cover here on this stream. You can also chat with me on Twitter, a little bit more active there lately. Link will pop up somewhere around here throughout the stream. So if you see that, make sure you pop in and say hi, and yeah. So I hope you're having a great Monday, and yeah, I hope you're having a great time, and finding yourself, keeping yourself entertained, working, whatever it is that you're doing, or however it is that you're coping with COVID. I hope you're having a good time, you and your families. Anyways, let's get on to the news. Right, we do have stuff to cover today. Let me send out this tweet that we're live, and awesome, there we go. So what do we have? Well, this article is from Cointelegraph. Sell the news why the post-halving Bitcoin price drop isn't guaranteed. Now, the Bitcoin block reward halving is set to occur in May 12th. We talked about that earlier in other streams, and the traders have mixed opinions on the direction Bitcoin price following the event. Right? Anyways, some believe that they sell the news type of drop will occur after the event, while others foresee a bullish continuation. Now, if Bitcoin rises in price after the halving and breaks out of its 315-day cycle, wherein it saw 5 consecutive failed attempts at an extended rally, a powerful upsurge could occur. Now, the upcoming Bitcoin halving is the only mechanism that exists which affects the production of the supply of Bitcoin, and given that Bitcoin is a deflationary currency, they're calling it a deflationary currency due to its unalterable monetary policy. Anything that affects its supply will have an eventual impact on its price. Yes, well, it is not necessarily a deflationary currency, right? It is a static currency. It's just you mine less of it. But the supply is still static, right? For it to become deflationary, you would have to have less circulating supply overall, and that's never going to happen because you cannot burn the Bitcoin, right? You only have whatever's lost in wallets or anything of that nature. But for it to become a deflationary asset, you would really have to have less supply, right? You'll be able to reduce the supply in circulation, thus creating a scarce resource, right? A more scarce resource. But in this case, Bitcoin is just fixed at 21 million, right? There's nothing you can do. You just can mine less of it every time, but it will still be fixed in the supply, right? You'll have less supply flowing into the market, but the supply would always be the same. Anyways, traders have come to anticipate the sell following the halving because it is an event that is set in stone. A halving occurs once every 4 years, and the previous halvings were in 2012 and 2016. Now, the previous halving, the price dropped afterwards, recovering over the months that follow, and eventually reached a new heights 10 to 11 months later. Now, the highly expected nature of the halving increases the probability of a market dump in the aftermath of its activation. Right now, a lot of people are starting to speculate the price is going to go up. We talked about that. After the price goes up, yes, we could see a dump, right? People like cashing out. And then maybe in the next 10 to 11 months, yes, see a potential rally again to higher prices. But all that's still yet to be determined, right? That's too far out. And we're just inferring it based on information that we're taking from like past experiences. And really, while past experiences can be something that we use to predict what could happen, it does not necessarily mean it's going to happen that way. Now, like I was saying, the market dump, but after that happens, Bitcoin can potentially rally towards the macro range at 11,500 and 12,400. That's what is being predicted on this article. Now, they do say that most technical indicators are signaling a pullback. The probability of an extended Bitcoin rally immediately after the halving without any correction still remains low. Another crypto trader known as a Byzantine General stated that virtually every major technical indicator suggests a pullback for Bitcoin due following a 150% price surge since March. Now, what do we know that can happen, right? We talked about pullbacks. We talked about potentially targeting lower prices at some point in time. But right now we're seeing a rally. We're seeing the pre-halving event happening. Let's wait for that to happen and see if we go bullish afterwards or if we start to pull back. Now, I got back into Bitcoin again. I opened my position at 7,500 or 7,530-ish. I cashed out at 8,900-ish, and I got in again at 8,600 last night, around 2 in the morning. I'm not sure if that was the right move, because the market hasn't really moved up a lot. We did have divergence at that point in time, and I was really expecting for this to be a little bit more explosive. It went up about $300 from there, but other than that, I have not, well, maybe hit 9,000, maybe $400. But, I was really expecting for it to break 9,000 and have the new position open. Right now, I'm worried that we might get more pullback, and I probably would have or could have bought at a lower rate. So I'm placing a very tight stop loss on my Bitcoin. Now let's move on to the next Bitcoin article. A new licensed Bitcoin mining farm is getting set up in Iran. Now, the government of Iran said that it's said to have issued a license to a Turkey-based iMiner to mine Bitcoin in Iran. Now, local media outlet Tabnak reported the last week, basically saying that the license given to Iran's ministry by Iran's Ministry of Industry, Mine and Trade will allow iMiner to deploy 6,000 Bitcoin mining machines in the country. Basically, they already have, I think Iran has already 148,000 Bitcoin mining machines in use. Now, the new deployment will lead to iMiner to operate a total capacity of 96,000 terahashes per second. Per the report, now iMiner has invested 311 billion reals, or $7.3 million, to set up the farm, which is said to be the largest mining facility in Iran. Now, that's going to be interesting to see how Iran comes into play, because we knew they were a bit bearish. You could mine, but with some restrictions, and they weren't being 100% clear on how you could do it. You could not do it in Tehran. You could only do it in certain places. You had to be outside of certain cities, a certain distance where it was hard to get power to. So we knew there were restrictions, but them coming in and promoting farming, it could be a potential game changer, because it means Iran could potentially start playing into like the actual mining, and something that we could potentially worry about in the future. Now, iMiner has already an office in Iran's Tehran city for administrative purposes only, and they have been providing services only if in an informal manner, that's what the website's saying. Now, the license could be the official go-ahead to its operations in the country. Now, on to the next article. Now, this is from Yahoo. They got it from the block, right? Next one is from NullTX. It just says that just 10 Ethereum addresses control 17% of the Ethereum supply. I thought this one was interesting. However, reading the article, it just became clear that it was a little bit, misleading in the name, for reasons they explain in the article. Now, it says that, as to be expected, the top 10 addresses hold a combined value of over 91.7 million Ethereum. More specifically, the top 10 addresses hold 17% of the Ethereum supply on market today. Now, some of these addresses may belong to many cryptocurrency exchanges on the market, which again wouldn't be weird, right? Because we know the exchanges have them there. And additionally, their addresses tied to popular smart contracts, which would explain their higher value. Now, of the 10 addresses, they're not saying which ones are from exchanges. They're not saying which ones belong to people and which ones are from smart contracts. And that is something that we shouldn't really be worried about, because it's spread out, right? Even though it's 17% still spread out, it's not just one person that has all the Ethereum. So, nothing to worry there yet. But, it's still amazing that 17 addresses have that much Ethereum supply, right? Next article from Cointelegraph says Ripple co-founder Jed McCaleb sold 54 million XRP in April. Now, that is being analyzed, that was done by analyzing the wallets for his wallets, right? Jed McCaleb's wallets, that show that he sold off at least 54 million XRP between April 1st and 30th. Now, according to the May 2nd report by the Crypto Associate, based on data from McCaleb's known addresses, the Ripple co-founder appears to be liquidating his supply of tokens on a regular basis, and data shows that the wallet addresses supposedly used by McCaleb to sell XRP received an average of 1.8 million tokens daily in April, totaling 54 million 215,405 XRP, or close to 11.7 million at the time of press of the article. Now, that was 18 hours ago. Jed McCaleb is a key figure in crypto history, having created the Mt. Gox exchange and co-founded Stellar. He also co-founded OpenCoin in 2012 which later became Ripple, and was allocated 9.5 billion XRP when the 100 billion supply was pre-mined. So he got a lot of dough. Now, this large supply of coins has led to controversy surrounding McCaleb when he announced his intention to sell his portion of XRP. A declaration that caused the token to actually fall by 40% in price within 24 hours. Then he negotiated a 7-year agreement with Ripple that limited his monthly and annual sales of XRP. Pit for Life, Steelers Talk. Hi, man, how's it going, Pit for Life? Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the show. We're covering the news right now. We're going to talk about markets in a second. But if you like what we do, you know what to do. Hit that like, that bell, that sub, right? I hope you're doing good, man. Thank you for joining us tonight. And what is the point? Can the amount of XRP that Jed McCaleb is selling have an effect on the price? Maybe, man. I mean, 54 million XRP, it's still a lot of dough. But compared to the many transactions that happen on a day-to-day basis, yes, you're adding 54 million supply to the market, right? That's being injected into the market, let's say, by this third party. And yeah, it could potentially lead to certain price stagnation. But I wouldn't just put it all on this, right? The whole market, overall, crypto, right, has been kind of stagnant, kind of at a standstill. So we got to look into that more than whether or not Jed McCaleb's dumping or selling XRP 54 million in April. It's really the problem, right? I don't believe that's a problem. I believe the problem is the whole cryptosphere in general, right? The whole cryptosphere is performing more or less in sync. On to the next article. This is the last one I have before I jump onto the technicals, guys, by the way. If you have any questions, you can put them on the chat. But Pit for Life, thank you for that hi, man. Now, this also from Cointelegraph says that Litecoin Mimblewimble integration sees test build and code-based progress. Now, David Burkett posted on April, right, an update on Mimblewimble integration. He claimed that testing framework has been built and coin-based integration has started. Now, he's built functional testing framework and started to integrate the development work done so far into the Litecoin code base. And according to a May 1st report on Litecoin Talk forums, the project to implement the Mimblewimble privacy enhancements into Litecoin has reached an important milestone with the build of a test bed. Now, Burkett claims that he has also run some end-to-end validation tests throughout the framework. And as we know, Mimblewimble is supposed to give it this new layer, right, into Litecoin, which you are going to be able to send some transactions privately, which could be good for some people, but again, maybe not the best decision for Litecoin, because we do know that some exchanges are cracking down on privacy coins, right? And this privacy feature could be putting a target on Litecoin's back. Now, Burkett said, I built out a functional testing framework that builds valid headers, blocks, and transactions. Now I got some mostly complete end-to-end block validation tests. He said, now Cointelegraph reported in March, Burkett predicted that Mimblewimble would be running on the Litecoin testnet by the end of the summer. And this is a significant step towards that goal. Burkett also began to integrate his work with the Litecoin code base, initially focusing on the connect block logic and this part of the code validates block before adding them into the chain. Now, while Burkett was still unsure as to which specific area to tackle next, he did state that his high-level plan involved continuous code-based integration and lots more testing. Now, that's it for the news, guys. I'm going to jump on to the technicals. Give me one small second. Stick with me. I'll play this small technicals intro, and we'll be right back, right? It'll just give me time to set up the screen here on the side so we can start doing technicals. Be right back. Awesome, we are back. Thank you guys for staying with us throughout that small intro. Now on to the technicals, right, and see what's happening on the market cap. Today, right, yesterday or today for us, money flew out of the cryptosphere, 0.53%. Now market changes at 0 UTC, right, or midnight UTC, which is or was about 3 hours and 20 minutes ago. And by looking at that, we know that today we're still opening red and moving down, losing money out of the market, right? 0.18%. And again, yesterday we did see some pullback, right, up. And right now we're seeing a little bit of indecision happening, right? We have a Semi-large body with 2 wicks top and bottom. About equidistant. Starting to move down a little bit more, but again, they were equidistant almost a second ago, which is showing some indecision. But right now, like I said, money flowing out of the cryptosphere, 0.17%. Market cap sitting at 243.59 billion, right? Now, what's happening with Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance yesterday gained 0.17. Today's losing 0.11. Sitting at 66.77% of market cap. And like we say, we want to see Bitcoin dominance below 20. We actually want to see it go down. And it's usually when Bitcoin performs the best. Bitcoin right now is at $8,858.55. What's it doing, man? It's just bouncing in this area, right? Between 8,900 here in the red and 8,850, right, on the yellow. We did move down a little bit more to the low of 8,822, which is almost 8,800, which is the green line back here. And this is from my old entry way back here, right? Way back here before the rally. I think I deleted all this stuff, but it was back here, and it was like how I was going to play into the market when I sold out, etc. Where my stop loss was, which was down here on this red line, which is the 8,527. Now, this did come down and touch that, or near that, right? The lowest it got was 8,533, and I had it at 8,527, so I was like a $5 away from my old exit. Anyways, like I said, I did get back in on a small rally. I was trying to get a larger play to come in. It didn't happen though. Bitcoin is facing some resistance around 9,000, right? So we gotta wait and see how we're gonna handle that, and if this is gonna really pump up off that. Right now, sitting bought on the other side at 70.55, or sorry, overbought at 70.55. Now let's go to the other chart that we look at, right? What do we have, man? That's not the chart. That's the chart we look at, right? I lost that little ticker. Again, we had divergence, right? Bearish. We were talking about it, right? Longer divergence here, and then shorter on the RSI. And again, talking about potential price action to the downside, we have started to move down slowly, but we have this bullish event coming in. That is the halving, and that's what's probably costing us to get this pullback up right here, right? This push up, and really not costing us to drop that much. Remember after the impulse up, I said we're going to consolidate. Look at this, man. We're just consolidating right now a little bit, right? We're fighting for the position. Some people are probably selling, cashing in on some money. They probably got in a lower price. Some people are probably trying to buy because they believe it's going to go higher, you know. But again, we're seeing this fight for this area. People trying to hold this level. Let's wait and see how it keeps on playing out. Again, like I said, overbought at 70.64 on this chart. Now I'm going to go on to the 4-hour chart. Nothing else has happened on the daily, right? We're still expanding on the Bollinger Bands. On the 4 hours, starting to get tightness on the Bollinger Bands. Coming back in. Below the 20, but flirting with it, right? Last candle, we flirted with it for a little bit. Managed to get above it. Phase rejection right here, right? At 8,900-ish. What was the top here? 8,974, right? Where we had this yellow line. With that yellow line, it's an old resistance from the log scale, right? So we're not going to look at it right now. Going below the 20, that's fine. Now, if I were to extend this, again, we have resistance overhead, right? And we've just support here as well with this drop and bounce, right? Anyways, neutral on the RSI. Thank you, man. Wow, awesome. Andrew, thanks, man. Wow, amazing, brother. Thanks so much for that. And wow, man, thanks for that $2.50, man. That's just like the most awesome thing that's happened today, man. Really, tips are a scarce thing in this channel, and I don't do this for the tips, but thank you so much for that, man. Much appreciated. If you like what we do, you know, you should subscribe, hit that like button and that bell. Not sure I've seen you before, Andrew, but thanks for being here. Anyways, like we were saying, right, we're trying to go up, but we're facing resistance overhead. Now, we do know that 20 is also a resistance, and we're flirting with it, right? We're seeing that indecision as to where the market wants to go now. Something that I was trying to look at earlier, right, was this, right? Low, high, lower, low, more negative momentum, lower in the RSI. But I'm not finding any kind of divergence right now that has been shown here. So, like I said, neutral at 54.14. Let's go to the 1 hour, and I'll tell you where I got in. Remember last night we were here like 10 p.m.? Right? Just this show's almost always at 10 p.m. except that when I'm running late and I tell you guys. But look at what's happened, right? We had divergence. We were starting to pull back down. And I said, look, man, there's a chance we could go up, hit the 20, right? We hit the 20. And then we're going to test it and see if we go above it, right? And we did right next candle. But again, what my play was and what I was looking for was this divergence to play out. Now, what I usually say is keep on tracking it to find out whether or not it's going to play out. Now, this starting to move down here didn't give me the right signal to go in. We could have moved farther down, which we did, and it was a possibility. And I think we discussed that yesterday. So I'll just target to the new lows, which I did, and then I had to undo so we could keep the same chart here for you guys when you come back and you can know what we were talking about yesterday and following today. And this happened by midnight, right? So 2 hours after the stream. And, oh man, I was so tempted to get in here, but I was really worried the price could have kept on going down. We did have the divergence. There's nothing that says this cannot go down more and have more negative momentum and get rid of that divergence. I was hunting this. I saw the next candle open up. Flirt a little bit, drop back down, and then I got my in at 8,600-ish, somewhere in this area. It was very close to 8,600. I would have to look at the entry price again, but I'll just round it off to 8,600. And from there on, I just started to ride this. Here I got a little bit scared, man. I thought we were going to drop lower again and create divergence, and I was like, man, probably I shouldn't have opened my position yet. But, you know, the alert triggered, right, when we dropped again and hit that 8,600 area. And from then on, it just, like, went to the upside, and I was so happy. But again, we didn't quite get to 9,000, right? We got close to it. And I haven't sold the position. We're facing the 20. We're trying to, like, see what we're going to do there. And the only thing I don't like right now about the 1 hour is that we have hidden divergence, right? A hidden bearish. And that is a something that could potentially put pressure on the market to the downside, right? We're going from a higher price to a lower price, right? High to a lower high, and positive momentum to more positive momentum. And again, that's something that I really don't want to see when I have a trade open. We did get the pressure coming in. We started to move down. Again, we're holding the 20, and there's a chance that we could use the 20 as a trampoline to pass above 9,000 again. But there's also a chance that if we break below the 20, we're looking for lower lows, right? And we could certainly go and make a lower low and create less negative momentum and create divergence again that would show up on another time scale, like the 4 hour, and then we could play off something there. But again, right now I'm placing a very tight stop loss. I think it's around 8,500. I didn't want to go too far down. It's just a small percentage I'm willing to go in. Because again, I wasn't sure whether or not this position was really going to play out strongly to the upside, right? So we're seeing this kind of indecision happening, right? We're flirting with this price. So if the price starts to go down near my entry point, what I will do is go in and look again and see whether or not I believe we're going to make divergence. And if I see that we're going to make divergence for a new bounce, I might leave the position open because I can always get out and still make a profit if it goes slightly above, right, over like 1%. That would be my commission fees from the exchange. So long as we make about 1%, I'm good. So I'm willing to like maybe move it down a little bit if I believe we're going to make divergence. If I don't believe we're going to make divergence and we're going to tank, maybe I'm getting some bearish signals coming in. I might just close a position at 8,500. Take that small hit. It's not too much. It would be like 1.5% or something small, plus the exchange fees another 1%. But it's not a big hit, and you know I'm willing to play to the upside on the halving event coming in May 12th, right? That's what's happening with Bitcoin, sitting neutral on the RSI at 50.60. I'm gonna move on to Ethereum. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, man. What's happening with Ethereum dominance? Yesterday lost dominance 1.15. Today is losing 0.38. Sitting at 9.36% of market cap. Again, Ethereum, I really want to see Ethereum above 10 again. And it sucks because Ethereum was performing so good, man. Ethereum was kind of doubling every time Bitcoin went up, right? So Bitcoin used to go up like 3%. Ethereum was going up like 6-9%. Ethereum, I think Bitcoin went up by like 10%, 9%. Ethereum went up by 20%. So Ethereum was performing so good. Ethereum above 200 still, managing to hold it, right? We did week down, hit near support, right, at $193.56. And we know that we have support there. We actually hit the low of 195.01. And we bounced from that area. And I'm not worried because even if we were to move below that, we had the 20. And even below that, we have what do we have here? The 618, the 50%, $189, right? And again, we do have the overhead resistance of the 618, right, at $211 or $213.23. So again, really looking how I'm gonna play Ethereum. I'm not sure if I want to open a position in Ethereum so bad because it has performed so good, but I'm still a little bit undecided, right? Because if Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum is very likely gonna follow. But the fact that Ethereum is developing strong bearish divergence on the daily, it's kind of a getting me to like center and say, look, man, there's a big chance this could go down. It has gone down, right? It bounced. But I'm waiting for this divergence to determine whether or not it's going to play out, right? We do have it here from a low price to a higher price, positive momentum to less positive momentum. On the other side, we did hit overbought. Right now, we're sitting bought at 61.44. So again, I'm going to wait for this to cool off a little bit, determine whether or not I'm going to open a position on Ethereum. I've been a bit hesitant, but like I said, Ethereum is not a coin that I really want to open a position in. I'm looking more towards Bitcoin right now because of the halving. I'm looking more towards XRP and maybe Binance. But again, you know, that's probably what I'm going to play out. So what was happening on the 1 hour? We hit divergence, right, on the 4 hour. We called it out. That was way back on May 1st. We did move up slightly higher again. Nothing developed that's bearish here, and then we just moved down because the whole market moved down, right? Bitcoin moved down. Again, like I said, we're really close to the bounce. Tried to rally to the 20, but we're failing at the 20, right? We're hitting, we reject it. Right now, it seems like we want to move down. Something that we can see, right? Low, lower, low, negative momentum, more negative momentum, low on the other side, lower on the other side. No divergence developing that is bullish. Neutral on the other side, 47.92. On to the 1 hour. What's happening with Ethereum on the 1 hour? We had divergence, right? We were looking for the price action to the upside. We didn't get it. We did move down more. Now, I think in Ethereum, we kind of killed the divergence that we were looking for, right? 94, 103. So we're going lower with more negative momentum, right? But again, why is Ethereum bouncing, right? Why is Ethereum getting this bounce? Because Bitcoin is getting the bounce, right? Again, like I said, the market is kind of in sync. Right now, the name of the game is follow Bitcoin, and it's going up because Bitcoin went up, right? Here we even had doubts, right? We had a reversal, bearish engulfing candle, moving farther down, and you know, it like didn't really care much for it. It just basically wanted to do its thing, and it, you know, it just went up because Bitcoin went up. Now, higher high, more positive momentum, right? No divergence being developed. If I wanted to go very, very micro, I could probably say that from here to here, we're going slightly higher, very, very slight. Right, it's in the 1 hour, so awesome. And from here to here, we're going lower, right? Creating strong bearish divergence, price action to the downside. We're hitting the 20 on the 1 hour, 20 simple moving average, and we're bouncing from it again. Hitting the 20, things that can happen, right? We always talk about them. We hit the 20, we can bounce to higher highs, or if we drop below it, we could be targeting lower prices if we try to hit it again and reject, right? So again, breaking below is not necessarily bad. We can always do reversals and go back up. But if on the reversal we hit the 20 and we reject, that is a bearish sentiment, and then we're talking about potential lower prices, right? Or targeting lower areas. Neutral right now on the other side, 50.41. Again, very, very neutral. On to XRP. What is happening with XRP on the daily? Yesterday it lost dominance, 0.03. Today's gaming 0.18. It's got 3.95% of market cap. It is so sad that XRP has not really been able to get much higher, man. I really want XRP to get above 4. I wanted to get above 5%, but it just has not really been able to get that much dominance. And I really wish it would, man. Even here we have divergence on the dominance, right? I don't do analysis on dominance. It's really not related to the price that much. But again, we could see this, right? Potential dominance gain, right? Or action to the upside. We're not really getting it. Like I said, 3.95% of market cap. The price of XRP, 21 cents. 21.828 cents. Where are we at? Still outside of this yellow area, which is good. We want to be outside of that area. This area is full of support and resistances, but again, big chances that if we go in here, we could be targeting lower prices. Yes, sure, we came in, we wicked back out, and that's good. And we're managing to be outside, but really undecided as to where we want to do, right? We've been open for like 3 hours and like 24 minutes. Yeah, 3 hours and 24 minutes. And, you know, really hasn't had any strong movements. Again, it could be consolidation, right? We're probably tightening on this range. And we're probably going to have better clues on the shorter time scales. Now, high, lower, high, less positive momentum. We had bearish divergence, so we're expecting movement to the downside. Bought on the RSI at 61.18. Let's go to the 4 hours and see if we have something there. On the 4 hours, we're here, right? We're targeting from this low. We're still slightly higher, I believe. And we're looking for this divergence, right? This bullish divergence from here to here. Right? From here to here. So low, this opening was 21.152, and this closing was 21.155. So slightly higher, right? But again, enough to have divergence. hidden bullish, right? And we're expecting this movement to the upside, and we're hitting the 20, and we're just rejecting the 20 continuously. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We have not been able to get above the 20 on XRP. Now let's wait and see what happens with this 4-hour candle to determine where we could go, and if we're gonna be able to perform something that interesting here. 164, 163, slightly less. So we don't have that divergence developing on the MACD, just on the RSI. And like I said, neutral at 52.14. Again, a movement to the upside would have us head for the 22 area, right? Having price prediction for Bitcoin, yes. Look, man, thanks, Pit, for life. I don't do price predictions, man. I can tell you targets, right, that we could hit, and then we'll see when we get to a target where we could go to. But yes, we can talk targets. Just let me finish XRP. Look, usually goes XRP, Litecoin, and Binance. When I finish Binance, I would definitely go back and talk about targets for Bitcoin, right? And I already have targets set up, so don't worry about that. So again, we're rejecting the 20. We don't want to see this. We want to see this go higher. Moving to the downside, we'll see this yellow area, which would be 21,292, and see if we hold it as support. We also have the bottom of the Bollinger Bands that we can hold as support. Then movement up, we have the top of the Bollinger Bands in 22,605, which could be giving us some kind of resistance ahead. So again, XRP might start to trade within this area until something explodes, right? We either get tight on the Bollinger Bands, or Bitcoin has an explosive move. Neutral at 52.03. Let's go to the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, again, what happened? We moved down. Again, here we do have that divergence, I believe. 89, 85, slightly less still. And just like Bitcoin, right? It managed to move slightly down. Again, strong bullish divergence, price action to the upside. Getting that psych, resistance. Why? Because we hit resistance here. But also probably Bitcoin also moved down. It just happened that here we also had resistance, right? Moved down, and then from then on we just rallied, but didn't rally strong enough. And right now we're starting to go slightly higher, as you can tell, right? Look at this high, right? Slightly higher, and even slightly higher here. So we could trace a line from here to here, going slightly higher every time, right? And just making sure this is all going to be on the 1 hour. And look at this, man, right? We're going lower, and even on the RSI, if I were to anchor, right, from here to here. So again, strong bearish divergence, price action to the downside. We're seeing this move down. We haven't quite hit the 20 yet, but if we hit it, there's a chance we could try and bounce from it if the market is still bullish enough. And if we're not, we're probably going to break below it, and then, like I said, we probably can be targeting this area here, 21,291, around that area, right? Neutral on the RSI, 52.85. Let me move on to Litecoin real quick. Litecoin dominance yesterday lost 1.91. Today losing 0.22. But again, Litecoin dominance is not that. It doesn't affect the market that much. It's 1.24%. Price of Litecoin at $46.97. Again, we have bearish divergence, right, from here to here all the way on the MACD. But then on this last leg, we have it on the RSI. Price action to the downside. We're certainly heading for that 20. And again, Bollinger Band still contracted, right? Try to expand a little bit, but not too much. And Litecoin has not had any kind of large movements, right, like the other coins. They've been a little bit more subtle. Neutral right now on the RSI at 55.82. Let's go to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, last thing we had or we were looking for was this divergence, right, which we obviously kind of killed when we went down here. And we knew it was a chance that was going to happen. We had it here, though. And we're getting the same bounce because Bitcoin moved up. But again, rejecting the 20 or near the 20. Neutral on the RSI at 48.22. Not much happening on the 4 hour. And then on the 1 hour, right? Look at this. Beautiful, man. Just like the rest of the market, right? Bearish divergence, right? We're tracking it. Managed to move up right at midnight as well. From then on, it just managed to move up just like the rest of the market did. Again, do we have divergence? 16, this all the same. We're going slightly higher. We do have a form of divergence. It will be type 2. Not type 2. Type 3. Weak divergence. And then on this last leg, moving up, right, we're going slightly lower. And then here we have strong bearish divergence. Potential price action to the downside. We're in this move down, hit the 20, holding it, trying to see if we're going to bounce on it or not. But again, still yet to be determined. Neutral on the RSI at 48.59. That's it for Litecoin. Binance, I'm probably going to move through it quickly as well. I don't believe there's much going on with Binance. Yesterday lost 0.07. Today gaining 0.28. Sitting at 1.09% of market cap. Price of Binance, $17.08. Now, what do we have? Moving down. What do we do? Hit the 20. We talked about that, right? Bearish divergence. We knew the 20 was a possibility. Still getting tightness of the Bollinger Bands coming in. That means volatility is leaving the market, and we might get an explosive move. Neutral on the other side, 59.12. Again, not else happening since then. Just we held a 20 like champs, and that's it. 17.08. Now, wow, awesome. Bitcoin Jake tipped $2.50. Dude, awesome, Bitcoin Jake. Thank you for being here, man. Wow, amazing stream, guys. We've gotten 2 tips today, man. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Bitcoin Jake. You guys are amazing, man. Thanks for the support. By the way, Bitcoin Jake, how's the Satoshi Quest coming along, man? I know you said you had guys playing. One of them was near the loot. By the way, guys, if you don't know, we have Bitcoin Jake in the house. He's a developer. He created a mod game for Minecraft, which is Satoshi Quest, and you basically pay $1 per life in Bitcoin, or whatever the equivalent of Bitcoin is at the time. And then basically you go through Minecraft trying to find the loot. And if you win, I think you get half of the supply or half of the entry fee, and then the rest goes to cover server expenses and everything else. But yeah, the player won $37. Current loot's 23 in all Bitcoin. Oh, wow, awesome, man. That's pretty cool, man. So again, if you guys play Minecraft, you have a question for Bitcoin Jake, he's in the chat. He's a pretty cool dude, and he'll reply to you and answer the question. Now, let me finish Binance real quick, Pit for Life, and I'll go back to your question about Bitcoin predictions, right? Where I won't call them predictions, I will call them targets. Now, Binance, like I said, hitting the 20, rejecting on the 4 hours. Not a lot. We're still tightening within this range, right? We're calling for this yesterday, and as you can see, we kind of respected it. Not too much, but, you know, we did manage to close here and move back up into this area of this triangle. Working with Library and DGB people also. So I hope to have more treasure hunt servers soon. Awesome, man. I use Library. I post there also. I think it gets automatically posted there. Low, lower, low, more negative momentum, lower on the other side. Nothing happening on the 4 hours. Neutral at 50.12. Let's go to the 1 hour. Again, same stuff that we were talking about, right? Divergence. We kept on tracking, right? Midnight comes in. We create this divergence. We anchor to the same point. From then on, we just rally like champs. Here, we could say that on this last leg, we would also have divergence, right? But just on these, on the other side, we complemented it. I'm not sure if we did this with Bitcoin or not. I'll have to look at it in a second. But again, what's happening? We're getting this sort of bounce right here. We managed to move still slightly farther down, like one more hit down. Right, the rest of the crypto sphere didn't do this one. Bitcoin just performed much better here. And there we go, right? So we got this very, very nice bounce coming in and moving up on price, right? On divergence, right? We were looking for it. We were hunting for it yesterday. We talked about it. It became a real thing. Now we're worried about heading lower, right? Because every time we're going higher, we're going lower here, right? On the RSI. So again, sorry, on the MACD, right? So we're targeting highers, and then we're targeting lowers, right? So again, watch out for those movements to the downside now. Spotify ads are coming in. Awesome, man. Let me play something else. There we go. Play that one. I'm not sure if we already played this, but, you know. Again, right now we do have this divergence, right? Potential price action to the downside. Again, hitting the 20 would be a potential target, likely. Right now, neutral at 54.70. Now, let me go to Bitcoin and check if we had it here. No, we don't have it here, right? We're going lower. On this chart that we charted everything, right? So lower, more negative momentum. We don't have that divergence that Binance had. Now, yes, question from Pit for Life. He talked about Pit for Life, $5, man. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. What's happening today, man? We have a lot of stuff. Thank you guys for the tips, man. You guys are insanely cool, man. Thanks so much. Pit for Life, man. To answer your question about targets to the upside. All right, I have a couple charts, right, that I'm going to talk about real quick. This one is one of the main charts that we've been looking at for Bitcoin lately. That's why it's so cluttered. And then I have different charts for different things, right? This is my main chart. We do have overhead resistance, right? This line that you see, this yellow line that seems to be doing nothing. If I go into logarithmic scale, you're going to see that it's a channel, right? Log scale means that, like, you go 1, 2, 4, 8, right? Every double, it just shows up as the same increment. That's why you can see 75, 125, 255, right? So it just goes in the same increments, right? So every time you go up, it doubles. But again, that's why it looks more compact. Now, this is a channel that we broke out of that Bitcoin had been in forever, you know, using it as support and resistance. And we're trying to get back into it. And we're seeing that line, right? Sorry. We're seeing that this line, we're facing it as resistance right now, right? Or support, actually, on log scale, which is something that's good, getting back into this channel. Now, we're going to start squeezing log scale in this uprising line, right? Making this triangle with the blue line on top, and that would be the 786 at 9,087 and 30. What is it? 55 cents, I guess. Yeah, 55 cents. So again, we're targeting this as a potential for to try to break above this, right? We're gonna get contracted into this area, and that's a possibility. Now, if we do manage to move above, we do have this resistance at 9,564, which we got very close to it a couple days ago, and then we're rejected, right? And we had this one out for a while. Now, that is targeting to the upside, two immediate targets, right? Like I said, here it's one, and here's another one. Now, a movement to the downside would potentially have us hit, I believe it's the 618 at 7,866, yes. And then below that, we have this line of support that could be at 7,530. Now, that's the more immediate movements to the upside and downside, right? I do have another chart, right? Then we have the 100% retrace. That would be to the highest we got, which was on February 12th. And that would have been this one here at 10,495, right? That's where we would be targeting, right? 10,415 is close enough. Now, I do have another chart. I do believe it's this one, where I have more targets to the upside, right? We did set here that 100% would have been at 100 and or 10,500-ish, right? Around that area. Now, on this chart, we do have something around 10,604, right? Which is also very close to where we rejected here. But also, I have more targets to the upside, right? We had this kind of channel that we broke out of to the upside, and we're trying to get higher, but we haven't been able to, right? But we do have 9,650 here. We do have 10,243. We also have 10,647, 10,837, 11,120, right? All these have been areas where we found resistance in the past, right? Either here or here or here, you know. But again, those are areas where we could potentially be looking for areas where we could bounce and kind of either hold or reject, right? And we don't really want to reject. We want to move on to the next area. And these small plateaus, some of them we can just burst right through, right? And Bitcoin Jake is still long in Bitcoin. That's cool, man. How is your long position working, man? You're probably very neutral. If I remember what you sent me in the picture, you got in around 8,700-ish. So if your position is still open, you're probably making, like, I'm not sure, man, like $50 to $70 right now. I'm just trying to do a quick calculation in my head, man. I can't remember the whole data that you sent me, but I'm guessing you're probably making like $40, $50, maybe. I'm not sure. Again, potential to the upside, yes, bit for life, but also remember the article that we covered, right? This first article, Sell the News, why the Pulse halving event price drop isn't guaranteed, and what we talked about there. You made 100 profit earlier today and closed it at that. Awesome, man. So you closed it and you opened a new long. That's cool, man. Yeah, all right, awesome, man. So you did make some good dough. You probably got out near 9,000, right? It did go up to 8,900 and then change, man. So if you got out, I would assume you probably got out here like 9,000. What was the highest that we got today? 8,970, 8,900. Maybe you got out. I'm not sure what your exit was, but I hope you got a good in. Now, Pit for Life, like I was saying, man, waiting for this to really, right, we had the impulse up, we're consolidating, we have the halving event. Now, the halving event is coming in on May 12th, right, May 12th, and some people are saying it's going to be a price drop right on the Sell the News, but other people are saying that it's going to be a bullish continuation. I really don't like to do much analysis of other people's analysis or talk about other people's analysis, but I did believe the article did bring some fair points. And one of them is, you know, if Bitcoin, you know, rising price after halving and breaks out of the 315-day cycle, what it saw 5 consecutive failed attempts at extended rally, a powerful upsurge could occur. Now, that is trying to predict the future. We don't know whether or not that's going to happen. However, what we do have as historical data is what is being mentioned on the article, and saying that, you know, traders come to anticipate a sell-off following the halving because it's an event that it's set in stone, and halving occurred every 4 years, 2012, 2016. And, you know, in previous halvings, the price dropped afterwards, recovering over the months that followed and eventually reaching new heights 10 to 11 months later. Now, something that's what I'm saying, that the halving event could be one of those things where we actually, a lot of people sell, right? They cash out because they're looking for the short play. They're really expecting this small rally and cash out. And then with time, right, because the miners have to make their profits, they're probably going to be selling strategically into the market. We might see this price start to go up again. Now, and that's why it takes 10 to 11 months. However, they're targeting a macro range of 11,500 to 12,400. And again, I do believe we have that, right? 11,400 to... I'm going to have to do this here on the side. I'm going to hate it. To 12,345, right? We do have those areas, or near those areas, according to our analysis, or my analysis, as a area of resistance, right? Even above, we do have 13,196. Now, I haven't targeted anything higher than that, really. Mainly because it does nothing for me, right? We haven't gotten to this area. So once we get closer to something like that, I would probably start looking more at this chart for the analysis instead of the other chart. Now, the first chart that I have all the downsides charted, right? You can see that the fibs are lower. We do have more resistances to the downside again. So this chart is more to looking for price action to the downside, right? This is the one where I usually explain my plays whenever I make a play. I got back in, like I said, around 8,600-ish, close to that area. But then again, this is one to the upside, and then this is the one that we're just doing right now for analysis. Bitcoin Jake, this is Bitcoin though. It's 11 years old and nothing to compare it to. Just because it dropped after 2 halvings doesn't mean it will. Yes, I agree. Right? I made that point earlier in the stream, and I said just because it happened a couple times, it doesn't mean it has to repeat itself, right? History doesn't have to repeat itself. There's a chance it could still go on rallying. To take into account that what could happen is miners are going to make half the profits. They're still going to have the same cost, so they need double the money, right? Double the value to be able to cover the same expenses, or to be able to earn the same money so they can cover the same expenses. Now, what usually has been targeting the drops is that some miners have been or could be selling that money, right? The Bitcoin that they mine quickly, for whatever Bitcoin they have stored, to make a profit and try to get some money or cash flow so they can still run the operation while the price goes up, right? So, yeah, everyone, this halving is going to be a non-event, but in reality, one half the supply and the same demand. Yes, that's what I was saying, man. That's why when I say that Bitcoin is not a deflationary asset, look, Bitcoin is in a fixed supply. Bitcoin just has 21 million coins minted. They're not all mined, but it's just 21 million. Now, a deflationary asset, what it does is it reduces in size over time, right? Creating a scarcity or less supply over time, right? And that's deflationary, because when you have inflation, what you do is you print money, so there's more supply in the market. So deflation would mean the opposite, right? You'd reduce the supply in the market. Bitcoin doesn't reduce the supply. Bitcoin is still fixed. However, the reduction of supply, but it's not a reduction of supply, is the reduction on how the money hits the market, is by the halving rewards, right? By the mining rewards that get cut in half. You're still going to have 21 million Bitcoins. There's no way getting around that. There's not going to be more. There's not going to be less. It's going to be harder to mine each block. And that's how you try to justify that value to the upside. And like I said, we still have to determine how this is all going to play out. And there's other coins that are deflationary, right? But Binance, it's going to burn half its supply. XRP burns some XRP every time there's a transaction. It doesn't burn too much, but it's burning, so it's deflation. It's a deflationary asset in nature. Litecoin, I think, it also burns, and Litecoin, I don't know what they're doing, man. They did burn half of their supply a while back, and they didn't perform the way they wanted to, I guess. 3 and 4 million lost and unrecoverable. Yes, man, I did cover. Yeah, with Bitcoin Jake. We also talk about the wallets that have been lost. If you guys haven't seen the stream since the beginning, we also cover that, and we talk about that as a possibility as to what could potentially happen, and how that supply is lost forever, man. Right? And yeah, so that's it for the market. Pits for life. I hope I cover your question, man, with targets upside, right, where I believe we could potentially be hitting or heading to. And, to the downside also, right? We did talk about to the downside as well. So, I hope those targets are useful to you. I mean, use them with care, right? Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. You do your own thing. You measure your risk. I cannot measure your risk for you. You know what you're comfortable with, right? Like Bitcoin Jake is probably happy opening it long right now. I would be a little bit worried about getting some resistance and probably crashing down, so I wouldn't be opening a long. I'll be more looking for an opportunity to open a short, maybe soonish, right? After the halving event, maybe try to open a short. I'm not sure how much leverage, though. I usually don't like shorts, and I usually don't like using much leverage. Bitcoin Jake, you're insane, man. You use a lot of leverage for my taste. But good, you're doing good with that, man. So congrats, bro. Yeah, he always has risk. I was like 130 seconds the other day. Wow, man. Yeah, it's I look more to like actually buy Bitcoin and hold it, right, and buy other things and hold it than just doing longs and shorts. Pets for Life is asking what site do I use for trading. I use Bitso and I use Binance. Although I haven't used Binance very much. I am in Mexico right now. I'm living here. I've been living here for a while, over 10 years. So I use Binance. I use Coinbase sometimes, but not a lot. I use Coinfield. Oh, I have an account in Coinfield, although I never used it. Then I also use, like I said, Binance and Bitso, right? Bitso being partnered with XRP. Now, Bitcoin Jake saying for longs you use Udex and for alts you use Bittrex. Okay, cool, awesome, man. Nice, yeah. So I mean, you have many exchanges you can go to, right? And there's some exchanges that do certain things better than others. Options, I haven't used Udex for options or for longs and shorts. I think I'm gonna do them on Binance, right? They do have certain things where you can save some money by using them. So I'm really going to try to look for Binance and see whether or not I can place my short there and then see how it goes, right? And anyways, that's it for Bitcoin. I'm going to go look at gold and silver real quick. We do cover other stuff that is not crypto. So if you guys want to look at any other crypto project, let me know, and I will certainly look at it. But meanwhile, and to do something else, I want to look at silver and gold because I knew we're going to move down, right? We talked about this with silver, man. We talked about being at 14, whatever this resistance is, right? Or the support. 14708, right? The 382, and we talked about potentially trying to go for the 20. So I mean, I'm glad to see that we did move down. We used it as support, man, spot on, right? That low 14704, we said it was 14708, right? So very, very close. And from then on, we're just bouncing and again moving slightly higher. Again, not much happening with silver, right? Low, higher, low, less negative momentum. Trying to determine gold. Trying to move up, but rejecting. Wow, the 20. We talked about this, man. We talked about trying to get above here. We had the 20 as resistance. We talked about this yesterday. 1,704. We hit it as resistance again. We did manage to move outside of it briefly, but we actually closed at the 20. Right now, we're moving down at the 20, meaning we have resistance. Now, Bitcoin Jack saying South Exchange is a decent, small, no KYC exchange, but DVT on South Exchange. All right, you buy DVT. Awesome, man. We're going to look at DVT after. Let me do this real quick. S&P, 12 points gain. Nikkei, down 574 points on divergence, right? We'll call this one out. Toronto, up 224 points. And we had divergence, and we kind of talked about this. London, down 44 points. We haven't called anything on London in a while. What's happening with the Dow, right? Up 26 points. Again, it opened down, it started to move up. US 30 did the same, right? It opened down, started to move up, and throughout the day, it just caught up, which was good. And above the 20, getting tightness off the Bollinger Bands. We had divergence moving down, trying to use the 20 as a support, right? We managed to close above the 20. That's good. Neutral on the other side, 52.32. Now, I'm going to move on to oil real quick because oil has been crazy. Look at oil, man. Look at oil. There he goes, moving up, right? We talked about this a while back. We talked about this one. We talked about this movement down, and then we talked about this movement up. And you would have gotten in on oil, right? From here to here. 25%, man. In like a couple days. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days. 25%, right? Not that bad. Not too shabby for oil. Now, we did call this movement to the outside. We're starting to make positive momentum. Let's wait and see how this keeps on playing out. Neutral on the RSI at 48.32. What's that? That's Brent on a UK website. Now, this is Brent on a US website. And again, we're having that same movement up. I'm just going to take a measure here. They're landing in different areas. But you would have had 45% on Brent. I probably missed probably missed this one, and I didn't do this properly. Let me see from here to here. 27. All right. Why am I getting 27 on this one? It went from, sorry guys, 22 to about 28. All right. Yeah, it sounds about right. Why am I getting so much more on this one? All right, because this one did hit $19, right? So $19 all the way to $20. And that's why you're getting 40+%. All right, cool. So anyways, like I said, getting up on this, right? Well, I sold your USO stock today because it was only down $20 total. All right, that sucks, man. Look, we've been talking about oil, right, for a while, the last couple days. We've been looking at oil for a couple days now. We've called all these small movements in oil. Downsides, upsides. So again, very, very nice to see this going up. Now we're going to go look at West Texas and see what that's doing. It's recovering nicely, not as nice as that other oil, Brent, did in the other chart. Now this one is just moving up around 38%. Still not too bad for 4 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Even today it's just opening. But if you would have closed yesterday, you probably would have still made 35%. 4 days, 35% gains. That is pretty good. Now this is West Texas Oil, and it's on Owanda. I never use that exchange, but you know, if you can and you have access to it, good for you. Now we're facing the resistance at the 20, right? Neutral on the other side, 42.67. Now, do we have resistance here? No, we're above it. That's good. Now on this Brent, I do believe we're at resistance. We're holding the 20. Let's see how we manage to hold that. There's a chance if we come back and test it, we can use it as support and a trampoline and try to rally from there. Real quick though, futures 21 again, getting that same bounce. And these futures contracts also getting the same bounce. So again, about similar gains, I would say. From low to high. 34%, right? I mean, oil is performing good right now. We're going to hit the 20 as resistance also on these futures contracts. Benny was into JC Penny. We talked about potential moving to the upside. We did get it at least to the 20. From then on, what do we do when we hit the 20? We try to test it, right? We faced it as resistance, and we rejected. We're starting to move down. Man, it sucks, Benny. I hope you make profit. But I'm not sure if you're watching or not, but if you're watching, Benny, I hope you made profit in JCPenney. If not, you should get out of it, man. It's not performing too well. Hive at 40 cents. It has tried to recover a little bit. It did hit a low. Bitcoin Jack, I know you were into Hive. We talked about that earlier a couple days ago. It did go all the way down to 34 cents. I just haven't looked at it too much because the data is missing from behind, like for the last couple days, right? We called divergence. That was the last thing we called bearish, right? We have it here when it was up at like 90 cents, almost $1, right? And we talked about it plunging, and it did plunge. Now, I hate the fact that there's data missing because I can no longer shard it properly. But again, we're getting these movements, right? You have almost 2,000 in Hive. Congrats, man. I'm not sure what Hive's going to do right now. We're getting above the 20. I'm not sure how this is going to perform. But Hive did go from 11 cents, right, all the way up to like 90 cents, 90 plus cents. So again, if you would have gotten in on Hive at 11 cents, you would have made a killing profit at least. 800% returns on your investment. But I did believe it was a pump and dump at some point in time, you know, because it just shut off in like 2 days. It just got really, really high. You're waiting on $1. Awesome, man. I'm not sure. Right now, we got some pullback. We got to wait for this to cool off a little bit. If Bitcoin pumps, there's a chance this could pump. You did mention DVT. Let's look at DVT real quick. Can't find DVT, man. Alright, unless it's one of these ones. Devo Team, Davictus PLC, Awesome ConGecko. Alright, it's not showing here on the charts, so I can't see this one. Awesome. So guys, thank you for joining us again. If you like what we do, you know what to do. Hit that like, that bell, that sub, so you're notified when we go live. You guys are amazing. Andrew, thanks for that $2.50. Bitcoin Jake, also thanks for that tip, man. And Steelers for life, Pit for life. Thanks for that $5, man. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much for the amazing tips. Thanks for being here, guys. You guys are amazing. This show is nothing without you guys. Like I said, I hope your families are doing good. I hope you are coping good with COVID and that you're not being affected that much. I know, Bitcoin Jake, you told me you work from home, so again, I guess you're safe. But if you guys are not working from home and you have a steady job, I hope you guys are doing good, that you're at least able to do some work from home. I think that's going to be it for tonight. We haven't gotten any other requests from anyone. So I'm just gonna call it a stream. It's already 11 p.m. for me. So for some of you, it's already midnight if you're on the East Coast. And then depends on where you're watching from. It might be a different time frame. Thank you guys for watching. This is Tether Crypto. I'm your host, Martin. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys tonight. Twitter's going out right now. If you can follow me there. Talk about crypto to your friends, to your family, to your coworkers. Let them know that we are here. Like I said, it's a pleasure being here with you guys tonight. I'll catch you tomorrow for another edition of State of Crypto. 10 p.m. Central. I think it's -5 UTC still. Yeah, -5 UTC. That's going to be all for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you, like I said, tomorrow for another edition. Stay cool. Until then.